I have faced death, so none of this makes me afraid. All of you know that there are so many who sacrificed for us to be here today, to be able to vote. This has not come easy. John Lewis had his head bashed in, dogs set on him, water hoses put on him, people died. So when we remember the sacrifice that we all stand in, we must make it our duty to deliver, to vote, to do everything we have in these last 2 days, to talk to our neighbors and friends. Just remind them, Trump lies, we die. It is as simple as that. That's the equation in my scientific brain that I hold. He lies and we have died. Over 220,000 people. So remind people what is at stake. So there's justice and equity on the ballot, workers' rights on the ballot, our health care on the ballot, your education. There's a lot of young people in this space, and I thank you so much because you are the people we're passing on the baton to. What you're doing today is proof positive that our country is on the right track. We just have to deliver now on November 3rd. Make sure we have the patience for the votes to be counted. It's not going to be all done on November 3rd. So, make your expectations such that you don't get disappointed when you see votes coming from elsewhere. We need to hold strong. We know our numbers. We know math. We know science. We believe on facts and figures and evidence, not fear and division. So be strong, be brave. You do what you're doing. Thank you, because without you, I couldn't be, hopefully, your next Auditor General. My job is to make sure your tax dollars are used with integrity, accountability, and transparency, but most importantly, that there's equity. Our country really needs to level playing fields for a lot of people. People who've been here for 400 years and are still fighting. So we have to stand in solidarity, make sure we deliver for everyone, but most importantly, you are the people who are going to make it happen. My distinct pleasure now to introduce my friend, State Rep Steve Malagari. All of you know him. He's one of the nicest people that I've met on my campaign trail. He has included me, introduced me, but he brings so much to the table. He understands what it means to put people first. He's a union member before this. He understands the value of transportation. He has got a vision that I would love to work with so we can put Pennsylvania forward. And so I thank you, Steve, for always being so welcoming. And here is your state rep running for re-election, Steve Malagari.
Yes,
thank you, everyone. Let's do it.
How's everybody doing? Good. Pardon me as I sanitize a little bit. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Is anybody here? Good afternoon. All right. My name is Steve Malagari. I am the state representative for the 53rd District, so any of you who live in Lansdale or Hatfield or Souderton or Telford or Franconia or Southford Township, that is where I represent. I'm a proud North Penn graduate. Any North Penn graduates here? Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, Dr. Nina Ahmad, thank you so much for introducing me. It has been a pleasure for us to have gotten to know each other over the past several months. She came out to an event of mine last year, and I didn't even know that she was running for Auditor General at that time, but she said, hey, I want to show up, and we did, and she was able to introduce herself, and here she is now as our candidate for Auditor General, hopefully going to be serving with us all in Harrisburg together. I'm very happy to be with Jonathan Casa, a future colleague of mine, and I know that Jonathan's going to get over that finish line and join us in Harrisburg in January. So this election season has been the most crazy election season I have ever seen. Why is that? Well, you can't really go door to door as comfortably as you did. We were doing remote meetings and remote fundraisers and remote meet and greets, and it just seemed as if we were just separated. But the momentum never stopped, and people never stopped believing that we could actually win. and we could win the White House, even with a remote campaign, a virtual campaign. And now you're seeing all of this momentum building up for November 3rd. Now, most of you probably already have voted. Some of you may not, and are waiting to hold out until November 3rd to vote, and that's great. But we can actually taste victory very close. It's within our reach. The thing is that today and tomorrow, and even on Tuesday, we have to make sure that we knock those extra doors, make sure you make those extra phone calls, send those extra text messages, reach out to your neighbors and friends and tell them you must show up to vote. You gotta do it for the sake of our country. We cannot afford another 4 more years of Donald Trump. We absolutely can. And to know that Pennsylvania is in the crosshairs of how they want to win the White House, either fairly or unfairly, it makes the jobs of state representatives even more important, and senators more important, and the job of our Governor Tom Wolf even more important, to make sure that we can make sure every single vote does count. So as Dr. Ahmad said, be patient. The count will continue, and we will get a fair count. It is my pleasure at this moment to introduce to you an individual who we all know very well, who has brought mathematics to the forefront, who has told us about many things such as a universal basic income, and bringing out conversations that we've never really had before. And he's probably one of the most forward-thinking candidates that we've had in this election cycle. Woohoo! In a year where extreme partisanship has really driven a wedge between the divide, and it's dividing us and really dividing the heart of the nation, and it's unfortunate. But it's been refreshing to have someone thinking about how to move us forward, and while we've been sprinting backward for the past 4 years. And because of Andrew Yang, we've actually had these conversations, and I just want to say that in the middle of a global pandemic, nonetheless, we need to be focusing on people instead of the politics and how we're going to help them now more than ever. And so it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Andrew Yang.
Hello, Montgomery County, how are you? I think I'm going to take this off. What do you think? You're more than 20 feet away. I've done the math. I'm going to measure tape. It's a thrill to be here. This is the battleground of all battlegrounds. The Biden campaign had the entire country's map laid out, and they said, you know where we need you to go, Andrew? We need you to go where Trump has been campaigning in the last days. We need you to go to Pennsylvania. Because they know, and you know, that the future of our country is in your hands, right here in Montgomery County, in this battleground of battlegrounds. I want to acknowledge the leadership of Steve Malagari, Jonathan Casa, who should definitely be your next state rep, am I right?
Yeah!
And Nina Ahmed, who has a PhD in chemistry and now wants to audit the $78 billion a year that's spent. They're laughing because they know. Like 1% of $78 billion is a lot of money. So if Nina finds 1% that can be allocated more effectively to your communities, that's tens of millions of dollars that can be better spent in a way that will make our kids stronger, our water cleaner, our air fresher. That's what these people are fighting for. And they, like me, are indebted to each and every one of you because you're going to reach out and talk to neighbors and community members and friends here in Montgomery County and say, look, we deserve better. We deserve better than the leadership we've been getting out of DC for the last 4 years. Donald Trump has had every opportunity and he has failed every single time to actually solve the problems that have been growing for years here in Pennsylvania, a state that we all know he won narrowly in 2016. Now I want you all to remember that feeling. Do you remember watching the results in 2016? Do you remember that feeling you had when Pennsylvania went red? Remember that? It is in your power to make sure that you never have that feeling again. And I'll tell you, I'm not from Pennsylvania, but I saw it happen too and was like, oh no, right? Like, we have no excuse this time. We saw it, we felt it, and this time we have the chance to do something about it. Are we going to do something about it, Montgomery County? That's why we're here today. We're here today to reach out to your fellow Pennsylvanians. I ran for president in large part because of the problems that have been growing here in Pennsylvania. They've been growing for a long time. Donald Trump won this state in part because he acknowledged the problems, but he has nothing in the way of real solutions for them. Am I right?
Yes.
What have his solutions been? We still don't know. It's been 4 years. As far as we can tell, his solutions are to point them out and spew grievance about them. That is not the leadership we need in the White House. We need Joe and Kamala to actually turn the page for our country and start digging deep and addressing the problems that have been growing in your towns, in your communities for years and years. They predate Donald Trump. That's the truth. I've gotten to know Joe and Kamala on the trail. It's one of the fun things about running for president. And I'll tell you straight up, Joe and Kamala are exactly the same people off stage as they are on. They're exactly the same people when you're backstage with them, when the lights are off. What you see is what you get. They're both parents and patriots who genuinely care about us, care about our families, care about our shared future. They may not have been, so the funny thing is, you all know I ran for president. I was my own first choice. But Joe and Kamala are true leaders, they are friends, they are patriots, and I'd much rather be in position to push my friends to do something about these problems than try and push Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That is a very clear choice. We know that Donald Trump does not care one bit about us, our families, our towns, our communities, our problems. He cares only about himself, his greed, his venality, his ego, his image.
Yep.
We have had enough of it. Am I right, Pennsylvania?
Yeah!
We deserve better, and you alone are the people that can give our entire country a better future. It's a thrill to be here with you for it. If we fight for Joe and Kamala, they will fight for us. I guarantee it. Will you fight for them?
Yes!
I will too. That's why I'm here today. We cannot rest. We have to run through the tape. We have to make sure that every single vote that can get counted by Tuesday night when the polls close gets counted. And then we will be in position to celebrate a hard-won, hard-fought victory that I can see clear as day in my mind. Because we are going to win this thing, Pennsylvania.
Yes, we are!
We are going to win this thing because each and every one of you is going to talk to people, knock on doors, phone bank, reach out to your friends, tell them, hey, you know, I know you thought about voting. Like, do you know where your voting place is? Like, do you need a ride? We're going to help them get there and make sure that every vote in Pennsylvania gets counted. I've done the math. The election, the national election, could very well be determined by what happens right here in Montgomery County. So let's run through the tape. Let's get every vote into the ballot box where it belongs and make sure that we can celebrate the blue wave that's going to take this country in a new direction starting Tuesday night. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Montgomery County.
All right, thank you so much for speaking, getting everyone all hyped up. So now I'm going to turn it over to Maggie, who's going to be doing our training today for minivans. You can all go out and canvass. We're going to talk to so many voters, tell them why all of these people should be in office, remain in office. So thank you all so much. All right, take it away.
All right, guys, you ready to get out there and canvass?
Yeah!